Hi everyone and welcome to another Doctor Who figure review by me, Max Shorts, and as you can see today I'm going to be reviewing one of the brand new Series 6 Wave 2 figures, and as you can see it is the Astronaut from the Impossible Astronaut Day of the Moon and also part 2 of Series 6. Now I ordered this a few days ago from Character Online. It was $9.99 with an extra £5 for postage and packaging. I believe it arrived in the post today and I'm really happy with it. It also comes with a flesh sachet and also a flesh mask, which I will review later on in the video. But first of all, before I talk about the Astronaut or its accessories, I'm going to quickly go through the packaging it came in. Okay, so if we take a look at the front, we can see it's pretty much as normal for Series 6 packaging, but as you can see this time it says on the right hand side that it now comes with the flesh and also a flesh mask for the figure. Then you've got the plastic bubble in the middle containing the figure and its accessories, and then it's got the card at the bottom with the new Doctor Who logo and the name of the figure. Then on the back it shows you all of the figures from Wave 2, including the Ganger Doctor, the normal 11th Doctor, the Astronaut, Uncle and Idris, and also River Song from Series 5. And then you've got the usual product and company information at the bottom. Okay, so that's it for the packaging, and now we shall take a look at the Astronaut. So here we have the Astronaut. Now this is a really big figure. I believe it's about an inch taller than most other Doctor Who figures in the 5-inch figure line, and it's also a really heavy figure as well. And as usual, we shall start by taking a look at the detail and sculpting first, and we shall start by taking a look at the helmet of the Astronaut. Now the helmet of the Astronaut is pretty basic. You've got the golden visor in the middle along with the white part of the suit which goes over it to protect the head of the person inside, but even though it is pretty basic, it does look really nice with the creases which have been added to the sculpting of it, which helps make it look very accurate and lifelike. The plastic of the golden visor isn't really too reflective, so if you're doing Doctor Who figure adventures or scene recreations with it, you don't need to worry about it clearly getting the reflection of the camera in it. And also the visor lifts up, so inside we can see the face of young Melody Pond. Now I really like this head sculpt. It really does have a very good likeness to her. The facial features have been painted very carefully. The little eyebrows and the eyes look very nice. I like the white dots that have been painted inside them, which help to make them look very realistic. Hairstyle has been sculpted very nicely. It's just like how it was in The Impossible Astronaut and Day of the Moon. We can see pigtails at the back there. The only thing I dislike about the Melody Pond, the head sculpt, is that I don't think it can move, unfortunately. But it still is really good though, and the fact that the visor can lift up to reveal the Melody Pond head inside is still a really good feature of the figure. As you can see on the inside of the helmet, it is just painted black like it was in the episode. And now we shall move on to taking a look at the detail on the torso of the Astronaut outfit. And if we take a look at the torso of the Astronaut figure, we can also see that this area of the figure is also brilliant in terms of detail and sculpting. You've got the chest unit, which the Astronaut was wearing all the time, that we saw it in The Impossible Astronaut and Day of the Moon. It's got that grey panel in the middle and also the arrow that it had. And then you've got the wires which come round from the backpack and connect to the chest unit, which I believe is meant to be some sort of life support system. As you can see, the bits where the wires connect to the chest unit are painted red and black. I think in The Impossible Astronaut and Day of the Moon they were actually all dark blue, but I think they look absolutely fine the way they are. You may have also noticed that some of the paint has slipped off them a little bit, but I only really noticed this when I look at the figure up close, so it doesn't really matter that much to me. And then just above the chest unit we can also see the two badges which the Astronaut had in The Impossible Astronaut and Day of the Moon. Now when we saw the Astronaut walking about and killing the Doctor in The Impossible Astronaut and Day of the Moon, we could see NASA badges, or NASA logos on the badges. However, they are not on the figure, as you can see. Now I believe this is due to copyright reasons, which I'm absolutely fine with. I think the badges still look fine the way they are. The detail and sculpting on the torso is absolutely fantastic. Everything's been painted really carefully, and I don't have any problems with any of the detail or paintwork. And now we shall take a little look at the astronaut's arms. Now the astronaut's arms are also pretty basic, but the sculpting of them is also absolutely brilliant, because as you can see, they are absolutely covered in creases, which helps to make the figure look even more brilliant in terms of its detail and accuracy. It's wearing those white gloves that the astronaut had in the episode with those really nice little greeny blue fingertips. I think in the episode they were more of a darker blue colour, but I think they look really nice with this turquoise colour that they are on the figure. The creases are also the same on both arms, by the way, which is a bit unusual, but I'm absolutely fine with that. And if you take a look at the top of the astronaut's left sleeve, we can see the American flag, which, although small, is really highly detailed. You can make out the tiny little white stars and also the red and white stripes, which stand out very well, unlike the white stars, which you can only see from a really close distance. Okay, so that's it for the arms. Absolutely brilliant. Not much detail on them, but I really like the gloves and the creases, and also the little American flag, which can only be found on the left arm of the figure. Okay, so that's it for the arms, and now we shall take a look at the backpack. Okay, so on the astronaut's backpack, we can see some pretty basic detail. We've got the rectangles and squares in the middle there, and a slightly bigger American flag at the top, along with various sections at the sides with various buttons. As you can see, the sections on both sides are exactly the same, and you've also got a section at the top of the backpack there. I believe this is so that astronauts can access its life support stuff or accessories within the backpack. Unfortunately, the backpack on the figure does make it quite hard to stand up from time to time, but it still looks absolutely fantastic. And now we shall take a look at the detail on the lower body of the astronaut. Now the trousers of the astronaut are absolutely covered in creases. The creases on both legs are just exactly the same, but mirrored. They still look absolutely brilliant though, and they obviously help to make the figure look even more realistic and accurate. And then you've got these really interesting shoes at the bottom. Now, I'm not sure if this was how the shoes looked in The Impossible Astronaut and Day of the Moon, because I've seen some pictures of that astronaut from that episode, and the boots or shoes looked completely black, whereas on the figure they are black, white and green. Again, this might be something to do with copyright reasons regarding the suit of the astronaut, but they still look really nice. They've been painted really carefully. We can see, I think it's some Velcro going on the middle of them, the black bits on the sides, and then the green bits at the bottom with the grip at the front there, I believe. Then at the bottom you've just got the Doctor Who figure copyright information as usual. Now, I have to say, I am really, really impressed with the detail on this figure. It really shows that Designworks have put a really good amount of time and effort into the making of this figure from head to toe. The astronaut suit is absolutely covered in creases, which not only help to make the figure look even more detailed, but helps to make it look that extra bit lifelike. I think the head sculpt for Melody Pond inside the helmet is absolutely superb. It really does have a great likeness of her with those really nice facial features, and also that hairstyle which she did have in The Impossible Astronaut and Day of the Moon. I think the detail and sculpting on the torso is absolutely brilliant. I think the badges look absolutely fine, and I really like the chest unit with the tubes coming out of it and going into the backpack. I think the gloves look really good as well, with those blue fingertips, just like they had in The Impossible Astronaut and Day of the Moon. And even the lower area of the body looks absolutely brilliant with all the creases and also those really interesting shoes. The only problems I'd say I'd have with the detail and paintwork on this figure would be the fact that some of the paint has slipped off in a few places, but that can only be really noticed when I look at the figure up close. And still, I think the detail and paintwork on this figure is some of the best detail and paintwork out of all the Series 6 figures we have seen so far. Again, I think the reason why the shoes and badges don't look quite the way they were in The Impossible Astronaut Day of the Moon is due to copyright reasons, but that isn't a dislike about the figure in my mind. And now we shall go through this figure's articulation. Okay, so the astronaut / Melody Pond's arms can go up at the shoulders. They cannot do a 360-degree turn though. They also have ball joints at the shoulders so they can spread outwards. They've also introduced ball joints onto the Doctor figures and also River Song figures from Wave 2. Really like the fact that they've started adding ball joints onto more Doctor Who figures now, because I really like figures that have ball joints at the shoulders. You can put them into many more poses when they have ball joints at the shoulders. She doesn't have any bicep joints, however, so you can't really recreate the scene where she lifts up her visor, but they can still bend up at the elbows and the hands can turn 360 degrees. And lower body articulation, she can turn at the waist a bit, can't do a 360-degree turn on my one though. The arms can also bend outwards at the top, go backwards and forwards on the top, swivel 360 degrees at the thighs, and also the legs can bend at the knees, and also the shoes can turn. So overall, I think the astronaut figure from Series 6 is an amazing addition to my Doctor Who figure collection. I am so impressed by the detail and sculpting on this figure. The head sculpt has a really good likeness of Melody Pond. The detail on the astronaut suit is absolutely fantastic just by itself. I really like the quizzes on it, which help to make it look incredibly realistic. The articulation is very good as well, so you can put her into many different poses. And if I was to give the astronaut figure a rating out of 10, I'd give it a 9 out of 10. A great figure that you could use for many things, such as scene recreations of The Impossible Astronaut and Day of the Moon, and also for Doctor Who figure adventures. But the only things I'd say I dislike about this figure are the fact that it doesn't have bicep swivel joints, so we can't position her as if she's lifting up the visor. And also the legs on my one are really loose, meaning that standing her up is quite difficult when I'm trying to do that. Still an amazing addition to my collection though, and I would highly recommend it to anyone who is currently collecting Doctor Who figures at the moment. And that's all I have to say for the astronaut figure for now. If I have any more comments about it, I'll be sure to put them down in the comment section below, or also in YouTube video annotations. That's all I have to say for the figure itself for now, but now we shall briefly take a look at the flesh mask and also the flesh sachet that she comes with. Okay, so here we have the flesh mask that the astronaut figure comes with. Fits on to Melody's face very easily. It's just basically Melody's face, but as a ganger face sculpt. None of the facial features are actually painted, but you can see them very clearly. I really like the fact that flesh masks have been included with each figure in this wave, so if you stick them on the figure, you can make them look like gangers from the Almost People and the Rebel Flesh, even though the astronaut and most of the other figures in this wave didn't actually appear in the Almost People and the Rebel Flesh. Really nice basic accessory, brilliant for play purposes and also Doctor Who figure adventures. Quite happily give it a 5 out of 5. And now we should take a quick look at the flesh sachet. Okay, so here we have the flesh sachet. Now basically this is just a bag of a slimy substance which is supposed to be the flesh from the Almost People, sorry, the Rebel Flesh and the Almost People. I think it's really good that they've included this with the figures in this wave, so you can recreate scenes from the Almost People and the Rebel Flesh, and also if you've got the flesh goo pod, you can stick some of that in there, or if you've got the flesh figure maker, you can stick some of that in the container that makes the figures. I'm not going to take it out of the packet because, to be honest, I really do not want to make a mess, but I can tell you it does feel absolutely disgusting, but I still really like it. It's a great thing for play purposes, and I'm sure many young fans of the show will enjoy recreating scenes from Series 6 using it. And that is pretty much all I have to say for this review, YouTubers. Thanks for watching my review of the Astronaut from The Impossible Astronaut and Day of the Moon. If I have any more comments about the figure and its accessories, I shall put them up as YouTube video annotations, as I've said before. Thanks for watching, YouTubers, and I shall see you again soon. And if you want to know what my next review is, please be sure to check out my channel comment section for regular updates.